Okay, and we're live.
The headphones. Do it. You got the headphones ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought that I had it in one time.
No, you don't need.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, and we're live.
Well, there you go. How's it going, book friends? Welcome to another episode of Between Two Succulents. I'm your friendly neighborhood bookseller, Brandon Rashad Butts, and I am so excited to have our guest on the show with us today. Now, telling you a little bit about her, her debut novel, The Monstrous Thing, won her the Penn New England Susan P. Bloom Children's Discovery Award. Her second book, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, is a New York Times bestseller, an ABA bestseller, and is being adapted for a TV series with HBO. She's also the author of Bygone Broads and the History of Dogs and the History of the World in 50 Dogs. She's made the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, which is just a slight flex, right? She also drinks plenty of Diet Coke and enjoys snuggles with her dog, Queenie. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mackenzie Lee. Mackenzie, welcome to the show.
Yay!
Hi.
I'm
worried your guests are going to be disappointed you have Barack Obama propped up behind you, and I'm worried that they were all expecting you to say Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. Well, he's coming. You know, we're going to get him at a later TV date. You know, so don't worry.
I had to set the bar for him.
Exactly. Boom. A lot to hold up to. It truly is a pleasure to have a gifted writer such as yourself on the show. And today we really wanted to talk about your latest novel in the Marvel YA book series, Gamora and Nebula, Sisters in Arms, which is available now right here at Charm City Books. We even have some signed copies. Thanks a lot for that, Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Before we get to the book, we're going to start things off with a segment that we like to call Either Or. I'm going to introduce you to our two succulents for this week, and you're going to tell me which one makes you go, maybe this deteriorating planet isn't so bad. Does that sound good?
I'm ready.
Alrighty, let's do it. So, first up, we have the lovely silver satin Pothos. It has heart-shaped leaves that are dark green and splashed with silvery gray, giving them a satiny sheen. It's so fancy. Its compact growth habit makes silver satin Pothos a beautiful hanging basket plant. Doesn't need a ton of light and is fairly easy to plant, though it does not like to be in the cold or be too soggy. Now, our second VIP succulent is going to be this beautiful string of dolphins and string of bananas combined in the same pot. String of dolphins is a rare animal-like variety that develops beautiful curvy leaves which perfectly resemble a pod of little jumping dolphins. Then next to it, you have a string of bananas, you guessed it, who look like tiny bananas on a string. They are related plants and happily grow together in the same pot here at CCB. They like bright, indirect sunlight and do not need a lot of water. So, Mackenzie, which one of these beautiful succulents speaks to you and makes you want to maybe take on an overnight shift mounting some chromacite?
You know, I really like plants and I really like passing judgment on things. So this was really an ideal opportunity for me. Oh gosh, I really thought I was going to go with the first one because I love fanciness, as you can tell from my very fancy dress that you can't see all of. But the only thing I love more than fanciness is things that look like other things, particularly when those things look like tiny versions of other things, because we have tiny things that look like dolphins and tiny things that look like bananas. That really spoke to me. I'm going to go with number two.
Amazing. Nice choice. Nice choice.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I love this one too because of literally the exact same reason. So let's dig into your book a little bit. I did a little research and it turns out that we are actually twins in two areas. We both love Marvel and we both love sweater weather, which currently it is not sweater weather. I have to say it's just not.
It's devastating.
So when did you become an official part of the Marvel Hive?
I really hoped you were going to ask when did you become a fan of sweater weather, but we can talk about Marvel, I guess.
That'll take too long. That'll take too long to talk about.
I joined Marvel in, I would say maybe I think it was 2017 is when I first signed the contract. And then my first book with them came out in 2019, which is called Loki Where Mischief Lies. And it's right behind me right here. And
Nice.
it's about greasy teenage Loki solving murder mysteries in Victorian England. So yeah, I got drafted into the Marvel universe to write about anti-heroes when they were teenagers and before their heroicness or their villainness had quite yet cemented.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, the MCU has clearly gained a gem with you, and the precision of your writing. It just this ride within Gamora and Nebula really took me places that I wasn't expecting to go. Truly, Gamora and Nebula have probably one of the most tumultuous relationships in all of the MCU. And in this story, we get to follow their arc of their sisterhood as they struggle with their upbringing and trust and what is the greater good and how do we know what that is. So my question is, how did you build their story and relate it to struggles that really related to a lot of the current things that we face today, such as the pandemic of it all and the importance of masks and ventilators? All of that really couldn't have been clearer to me. So I was just wondering about your creative process.
Oh man, there's all this interactive stuff I want to be part of. I wrote the book before we were all wearing masks, crazily enough. So
Wow.
I may be some kind of savant. I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying that a little
Right.
bit.
No, I can say it.
Right. So so if any like weird nuns show up around, you know that something bad is about to happen. I like the versions of Gamora and Nebula that most people know are the ones from the movies, because the comic versions come from like space age 70s Marvel and have kind of been retconned now into the version that we know from Guardians of the Galaxy. And so I kind of took what was in the movies and we see them at a further point in their relationship in the films where they've recognized that they've come from this like background of trauma and abuse and gaslighting. And now they're trying to figure out who they are separate from their father and who they are separate from his work and his empire and their role in it and who they are to each other. So I kind of took that and worked backward from that, and started with the question: at what point did they realize that, and at what point do you realize that you've been? I promise this book is really fun, as I'm talking about abuse and gaslighting and stuff. It's a really fun book. It's great. Things blow up, but I kind of went back and so I went to this point and said, how do you recognize that you've been abused, and how do you recognize that there are people in your life who have treated you badly, or maybe people in your life? I think is lots of women in particular, lots of minorities can relate to the fact that like we feel like we're pitted against each other often in these kind of false rivalries because we're made to feel like there's only room for one of us, which Gamora and Nebula definitely feel with Thanos because he literally tells them that. So I think there's stuff like there's stuff like that in the book that can relate to our modern world. And then yeah, they're all wearing masks because I predicted the future.
Right.
Mostly just because I live in Salt Lake City and we have a gross inversion all the time and the air is like mostly unbreathable 90% of the year. And so I was like, you know what would be great if we all wore masks. Little did I know.
You know what I mean? Like exactly. Like you're definitely like a soothsayer of some sort. You must have saw it. So Salt Lake City must have done you some good. Something. Yes, and like Mackenzie said, guys,
you're a prophet, Mackenzie.
Yes.
A prophet in Salt Lake City, you said.
Oh, you gotta go see the movie I'm in called Witnesses right now. It's playing there.
Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
I don't know about this movie.
Yeah.
I'll tell you after the show. Sorry.
I can't wait.
And like Mackenzie said, you've really written a fun story. It deals with trauma and rough relationships between family and whatnot, but it really reads like you're watching a mini-series in the MCU. So I really wanted to kind of return the energy that you've given us all about making hard decisions and looking into them, and segue that into our next segment, which we call the lightning round. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and if you answer them correctly, a viewer on our streaming service will win the prize of all prizes, a free copy of Gamora and Nebula Sisters in Arms that they can get right here at Charm City Books. How's that sound?
I can't imagine a better prize.
Yes, awesome.
Not cash, not vacations. Forget it. This should be the new Showcase Showdown prize on Price is Right every week.
Oh yeah. It's definitely worth $30,000, hands down. So let's get into it. Alrighty.
Okay.
So question number 1 for me: would you say that you're more of a Gamora or a Nebula?
I think I'm a little bit more of a, oh gosh, can I say both, or is that going to be a wrong answer? There's parts of both of them in me. I think I'm like Gamora. I'm a little more outgoing. I wouldn't say she has people skills, but she has slightly more people skills than Nebula. She can hold a conversation. Nebula's not always great at that. But I've got a lot of the same kind of self-confidence issues that Nebula does. I don't have Gamora's well-earned, but a little overabundant confidence.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, I think that a Nebumora or a Gamebula is definitely...
I like Gamebula.
Gamebula,
Mostly because I've accidentally called the book Gamebula and Nora at least 5 times this week.
I love that. That's so perfect. All right, question number 2. Would you rather take on a grueling overnight mining shift, mining the Chromikite, or would you rather go head to head with Thanos, knowing that you have all the weapons you want and super strength?
Oh, Thanos, absolutely. First of all, that's over in like a flash because I beat him immediately.
Yes.
I'm not gonna mine for the rest of. I'm not gonna do a whole day of mining. No, like I can hardly stand a whole day of just like. If we're gonna bookstore. I can hardly stand a whole day on my feet at the bookstore. I'm not gonna be a miner. I was not made for physical labor. Yeah, I'll fight Thanos once, get it over with, and even if I die, it probably goes fast. That's fair. That's such a good point. Third question. Who was your favorite superhero, superhuman, mutant type character when you were growing up? I was not a big superhero kid when I was growing up, primarily because I didn't have a way to access them. Like we didn't have the Marvel movies so much. I wasn't into these like really the things like Batman and Superman that did exist felt so like masculine to me that I was not really interested in them. And when I tried to learn how to read comic books, everything about comic books said these are for boys, they're not for you. So my favorite superhuman person, human, sci-fi, whatever your question was, I'm going to go a little out of left, not out of left field, but a little off the wall here, which is Princess Leia from Star Wars, because I consider her a superhuman, and Carrie Fisher also a superhuman. But Princess Leia for me was a model of strength and femininity simultaneously. And Princess Leia taught me that you can be tough and you don't have to be tough in a way that means you have to emulate traditionally masculine traits, that femininity can be strong. You can kick butt and wear a dress and be a diplomat and be a rebel and be a fighter with both words and fists.
Oh, I mean, you're so right on all of that. Like, I mean, Princess Leia, like it's almost like Cassandra, you know what I'm saying? Like it really was just like this was her destiny, and she kind of saw it all coming, and it was really up to her to like kind of fix all this stuff in the middle of trying to figure out her own personal history and whatnot. Like, that's such a good choice.
I mean, the other reasons I think, just to continue to elaborate, the other reasons I, of course, idolize Princess Leia is she has excellent hair, excellent braids. As you can see, I aspire to Leia level braids. Also, her whole planet gets destroyed, and she's just like, hey, got to keep going on with the rebellion. Luke and Han are wimps. Like, that's a different conversation.
That's another conversation that we agree on.
Ask Barack Obama when he comes how he feels about that.
Will do, absolutely, yes. Okay, so this is a bonus question, and feel free to answer if you can't, but of course I'm going to ask because I'm excited. So, book number 1, Loki. Book number 2, Gamora and Nebula. Book number 3 is...
I would love to tell you, but if I did, the Marvel sniper that always somewhere in my apartment would have to take me out.
Always, yes, they're for sure. They're listening right now. But I was like, it's not Mackenzie's fault. It's mine. I just wanted to ask. She didn't say a thing, okay? No one fire her.
Watch out for a small red dot appearing on your forehead.
Right, exactly. Good. But so thank you so much, Mackenzie. You are our lightning round champion. Joe, who is our lucky prize winner today?
Our lucky prize winner is Mark Lafreniere. Congratulations, Mark.
Yay!
An email. Mackenzie just won you a copy of her brand new book.
Gamora
You're
and
welcome.
Nebula, Sisters in Arms.
So I'm doing like 12 things at once.
It's okay.
So come on down.
It's a chunky title.
It is a little bit, but no, it's smooth.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah. So come on down to the bookshop, Mark, or send us an email, and we'll figure out how to get you your copy of Gamora and Nebula, Sisters in Arms. Mackenzie, before we wrap up, what's next for you? Whether it's the next writing project or maybe finally some time to go on vacay, what's new? What's going on next?
I mean, hopefully what's next for me is retiring early based on the enormous amount of money I'm going to make off this book from all your viewers.
Hello.
And
your HBO series.
I can't point. Yeah, and my HBO series, obviously. So please buy my books in bulk. This is my dog. She's very large and expensive, and as you can see, she has very expensive taste in sunglasses. So please buy my books so that I can continue to give my dog the life she deserves. But yeah, I have the third book in the to actually answer your question. The third book in the Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue series is coming out in November, and that's my next thing. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's so exciting.
How do I even point at things? Mirror images are hard.
It's covered. We got you covered. Are there any organizations or causes that you wanted to take this opportunity to highlight? We love to highlight anything that's close and personal to our artists and authors that join us.
Yes, we need diverse books. I always want to shout them out. They're a great organization that promotes and uplifts voices in children's lit in particular, writing diversely across gender, sexuality, race, religion, disability, all those things. Support we.
Awesome. Guys, unlike Thanos, Mackenzie is a creator of worlds and the author of Gamora and Nebula, Sisters in Arms, which you can pick up your own copy by going online on charmcitybooks.com or stopping by in the shop to say hi and walking out with one or two other things as well. Mackenzie, we really want to thank you for braving the threat of the Grandmaster's game to be with us. We really appreciate it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the book. I gotta say, I had to read it kind of quick, but it was not a task at all. It was so much fun.
Thank you. This was truly the greatest honor of my career.
Thank you. We're going to hold you to that when you win your Emmy for the TV show series, okay? All right. Thank you all out there for braving the wilds of social media to spend a few moments with us here at Between Two Succulents. Please stay hydrated, get vaccinated, and come visit us and pick up a new book. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time on Between Two Succulents. Take care.
Yeah, great job.